Hey y'all, what is up? Welcome back to Roots and Refuge Farm. I'm in my garden. It is so hot outside right now. It is really, I just walked down the driveway and already I'm like pouring sweat. It's so hot. I've got a bag here. I'm doing a little harvesting. I thought we'd pop in on the garden, and of course I had to bring my camera to show you guys, because hot as it is, it's still worth gawking at. It's beautiful and lush, and I'm about to grab some food to take back in the kitchen. So I was actually just plucking a couple of ripe cherry tomatoes off of this green stalk. Now I shared this at a garden tour, but it was kind of towards the end, so some of you might not have seen it. So I filled this green stalk up with fresh soil this year, and I just want you guys to see these plants are doing okay. They're making some fruit, but they're mighty small. Now over here, this is a green stalk that had older soil in it, which I actually, oh, saboteur, look at that. Y'all see those bare stems? I knew he was there. No, sir. Yeah, don't squirt on me. You nasty. All right, I put him in the collection cup to go to the chickens. I picked about 5 hornworms off of the green stalk the other day, but obviously I missed some. There's another one here. So, if you don't know this, hornworms glow under black light. Sometimes I'll grab a sickly leaf off to grab them so they don't squirt on me, because yes, I'm a gardener that doesn't like bugs. Don't come at me over that. Listen, we all have our things. I need to bring the black light out. I was gonna do it the other day and I was like, no, I think I got all of them. I was really thorough. Those boogers, they just blend right in with the green. Anyway, I was trying to show you how awesome this green stalk is, and it's still awesome except for like 3 of these plants are completely stripped of foliage. Thankfully, they are resilient and they will probably come back. I'm gonna have to bring the black light out though. However, take a look at this green stalk, how lush the plants are. So this was older soil that I amended. I did a video showing how I amended these, if you missed that, kind of what I do with my containers. And I planted these plants a month after those plants. That was brand new soil that was bagged. And then here too, these were planted just like a couple of weeks in new soil after these, which were planted in amended soil. So obviously the amended soil is doing way better. It's not a container issue, because you can see these green stalks look super lush, but the ones with the fresh bag soil are struggling. Well, they are struggling, but look, I do have a couple of strawberries here, which I'm going to eat. Now, what I think that I may do for these, the reason I haven't taken them apart is because the plants are already pretty sizely, but I mean, I'm not going to get a lot of harvest off of those if I don't do something. I have fed them some liquid fertilizer, some like organic liquid fertilizer through the watering system, but I think I probably need to take them apart and put some compost, just a little fresh compost on them. It may work to just kind of fit some in each one of the cups, but I don't have a quick solution to tell you. But I do want to tell you, and I'm going to keep saying this, because if you are a new gardener and you are struggling, your plants are puny, they're not growing, they're not producing, they're off color, something's not right, and you're using soil that you just purchased either by the load or in bags, please do not assume that it is you. The crunch on the gardening industry over the last handful of years, namely since COVID, there's just a massive influx of new gardeners, and I'm here for it. I am so happy that you're here. But these companies that sell things are selling subpar products. They're trying to meet the demand of the customers, but I guess I could be harsh and say they're not doing it with integrity. I think that if you're selling something that you know is not the quality that it should be, that is a lack of integrity. But there's a ton of people dealing with this subpar soil situation, and I have a perfect example of it here, because there is no reason why those plants that were planted a month before these plants should be that much smaller and that much punier. It makes me frustrated, but I'm actually glad this happened to me, so I can show you guys it's not you, it's not your container, it's not your plants. This is a soil issue, and we can figure this out. We can get around it as long as we don't give up. I hear from so many people regularly, I tried to garden and I failed and I'm just not a good gardener. I have a black thumb, well, you know, whatever the reason is. And to that I would say, thumbs come in many colors. They can all grow food. It's not your thumb, it's not you, it's probably your soil. And that can be amended no matter how bad it is. Looky here. I should have harvested this already. Armenian cucumber. Not what I came out here for, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in my bag. It doesn't need to get any bigger. All right, I came out here for basil. Here's some. I am making some basil pesto this evening. Just got a bag, I'm gonna throw all of this in. I was gonna grab a couple of eggplants also and make baba ganoush. By the time this video that you're currently watching goes up, I will have posted at least one of those videos on the Farmer's Table, and the other one will be coming. So make sure you're following my other channel, my cooking channel, for those recipes. I started the Farmer's Table back in the winter, but I was really looking forward to this season where I could show you guys the garden food. Oh, I need some garlic. This is all currently hanging out here in the greenhouse, but I'm gonna move it to the pantry soon. That will do. Y'all, isn't the shade cloth awesome? This is winning my heart as like a favorite garden spot this year. It feels so nice under here. I also decided to take the shade between the shade cloth, this plant, and the greenhouse. This stays shaded all day, and I moved my mosquito fish out here. I had put them in a little tank in the greenhouse. I knew it was going to get a lot of algae in it. I'm not trying to keep it without algae, but this will be a lot better. And I hope I can find them. They've had babies in here. I went down a dang wormhole when it comes to little ponds like this where you build like ecosystems in containers, and I only set this up like a week ago. They were doing okay in the aquarium, but the benefit of mosquito fish is keeping them in still water where mosquitoes will lay eggs, and then the mosquito fish can eat the larvae of the mosquitoes. And so I knew I wanted to get them out where they could multiply, but I wanted to keep them safe, and I think that this is going to be great. And I put them in and they had babies like the next day. One of them, I knew a few of them were pregnant, and there are quite a few little tiny fry in here. I actually just saw one of them. I don't know how well this is going to pick up on the camera. And try to, well, I was going to shine a light on it, but my phone is too hot. It's like so hot out here. Oh, look. I really don't think I'm going to be able to pick up any of these little fries on the camera. Too much glare. I see several of them, but I don't think I can film them. Well, that's a little anticlimactic. One day I'll be able to show these to you clearly. Maybe a different time of day where there's not such glare on the surface of the water. So I got these fish from a local friend of mine, Miss Nina. I met her, she viewed the channel, and she brought me a handful of these fish in like a Cheeto container, like a big plastic thing, and she was like, they're so hands-off, just put them in some sort of container in your garden, and they really help cut down the mosquito population. Oh wow. Cows are running, all the calves. You know, I'm so scattered and I'm not finishing thoughts because I'm getting distracted by things, but out here where I live, they trim the trees where the power lines are with this huge saw that hangs down from a helicopter, and they ride the helicopter over, and this saw hangs down on this long cord thing and trims the trees by the power lines. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen, and I think that's what that helicopter was. It just flew over really low. Anyway, back to my fish. Miss Nina gave me these fish. I set them up in an aquarium in the greenhouse, kind of just more as a sort of temporary thing. Actually, there were some babies born in that aquarium, and it has a good bit of algae in it, and I got all the big fish out and I left all those babies in there until they get big enough that I can move them over. But my hope is to let them populate this small pond. I've got some aquatic plants in here, It is going to grow algae, but it's opaque. It's in shade. I've found multiple YouTube channels that are really cool. Like, people do many of these small aquatic, like, pond setups in containers, and you can get very extensive with it. I'm mostly just fascinated with it, but I'm not looking for something super hands-on, so I'm going to take Miss Nina's advice and take it pretty hands-off. But so far, my fish are doing great out here in this setup. My hope is they can populate this, and I can maybe set up some more of these situations, and that the mosquitoes will lay their eggs in it. And I don't know. We don't have a ton of mosquitoes here anyway. Weirdly, I don't know why that is. People ask me all the time, how are you outside and not getting eaten alive? I will tell you that even in areas where there are a lot of mosquitoes, I don't get bit a ton. I don't know if that's just my blood type. I do eat an obscene amount of garlic, and I have heard that that can deter them. And I also use a lot of essential oils. I don't wear perfume or any sort of fragrance. I use essential oils, and so maybe that's why. My kids do get bit by mosquitoes some, but not too bad. So I'm not sure why we don't have a ton of them, but the mosquito fish are just a cool addition to the ecosystem of the garden. All right. Isn't the shade cloth glorious? I'm so pleased with this. I think my tomatoes are really pleased too. Before we put the shade cloth up, I was having just tons of curling. Now I still have some. This is just a sign of stress when the leaves curl like this. It's stressful for plants when it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 Celsius outside. So that's somewhat unavoidable. But stressed plants are far more prone to pest attacks than healthy, resilient plants. So the shade cloth should help the stress level a lot. And I have noticed a lot of my tomatoes are looking a lot less stressed since we put the shade cloth up. Oh, that one's got a blush on it. I've had a couple of like medium-sized tomatoes so far, but I haven't had any real big ones yet. I'd say we're getting close. These are probably, if there are hornworms on the green stalk, there are probably hornworms out here. I haven't seen any plants like stripped yet, but I imagine it's only a matter of time. I should probably go ahead and bring the black light out to catch them while they're young. If you search for hornworms like early, you can find them when they're like this big and they never damage your plants. That's the way to do it. Alright, I have some really big basil plants down here. This is going to be our pesto. Some evenings I like know what I want to say to you guys, and I'm in a much more like laid back mindset. Some days are very productive and I stay kind of going all day, and when I turn the camera on I feel like I am a hamster in a wheel. This feels like one of those days, I'm being completely honest. We pulled everything out of our closet. I have needed to clean my bedroom closet out for at least a year and a half, and that's saying something because we've only lived in this house for, it's going on 3 years, which is wild. Is that not crazy for those of you who have been here for the whole time that 3 years have gone by? But you know, I stay fairly busy, and I do kind of I mean, I am diagnosed with ADD. I struggle sometimes with doing things that I don't want to do, and cleaning out my closet has not been on the top of my list, and stuff keeps getting put in there. It's like obviously all the clothes, which you've got multiple seasons of clothes, and then you also have a lot of work clothes, like I've got bibs and coats and all that stuff. But then that's also where I've kept like all my fly fishing stuff and my yarn and like hobby things, because we don't have a lot of space for extra stuff. And it's gotten really out of hand, but I keep being like, I'll do it eventually. I was going to do it when I took a break from YouTube. I was like, yeah, I could clean the closet out. That's one of the things I never have time to do. Did I do it? No, I didn't. And we talked about it recently, and like, all right, we're going to get our house in order. We just keep feeling, get our house in order. You know, optimize it, make the most of it. And Jeremiah and I were talking, and I'm like, we really need to clean the closet out. Don't you know, that day, the big thing that holds all the clothes falls off the wall. Like, it just breaks. And so at that point, like, to fix it, you have to be able to get in the closet, and there's so much stuff in there. So we had to pull everything out of the closet. Like, as of this moment, like, my entire kitchen table is covered with all of our clothes on hangers. And of course, we pulled everything else out. And that's all I've done for like the last day and a half, is focus on that. Maya got everything completely reset, like all the bars are reinforced and everything is back up. So I'm gonna spend the evening putting it back in. I'm gonna make pesto pasta because that's something that's very simple. And I needed to use this basil. That as soon as I'm done cooking dinner, I'm back to the closet. So I'm gonna go over this really quick again in case you have missed it where I've talked about it in previous videos. Basil grows up stems like this, and every time it splits, it kind of splits off on either side and sends up new shoots. All of these are like that. If you'll cut your basil off right at above where it splits, it'll get a lot bushier and you'll get a lot more harvest before it goes to seed. You can also be brutal with this. I'm not always so particular. Sometimes I grab a plant, just cut the top half off. So know that it's your comfort level here. As particular as you want to be, you can be. I freeze dried a load of basil the other day. I'm pulling a lot of basil today. I'm thinking I'm gonna just make a lot of pesto, more than we need for tonight. I like to just freeze that. Freezing it actually works well. All right. A basil bouquet. Shade cloth makes such a massive difference in the garden. Like, if you live in a very hot place, obviously this is another investment in infrastructure, but if you live in a hot place and you have struggled with gardening, you may just need a little bit of shade. It feels so good. Like, you come underneath the shade cloth and it's just an immediate break from the heat and the intensity of the sun. So I've been looking at all these peppers I have out here. I've got several different varieties of peppers, and I am going to pick a few different kinds and take inside because I saw a recipe on Instagram that I really want to try. I've actually seen a couple different variations of this pop up through different reels, and I thought I would just try it. I'm not going to necessarily follow an exact recipe, but I'm just going to more or less try this general idea. So if you've ever heard of fermenting garlic cloves in honey, you just take a bunch of garlic cloves, peeled but whole, and you cover them with honey. You leave it out on the counter and like shake it or stir it daily for a couple of weeks. The honey ends up getting kind of thin and looser as it ferments, and then you can store it in the fridge and then use that when I make like echinacea tea or something when we're feeling a little under the weather. That garlic honey really helps with that. I think it tastes really good too. But I saw this recipe that was like chili peppers with like onions and garlic, and it was all chopped up and fermented in honey, and it's essentially like a hot honey but with actual chili and stuff in it, and I love hot honey so much, and so I definitely want to make some of that. And I'm looking around seeing if I have any hot peppers that are ready yet. We're gonna have such a good tomato harvest this year. Very soon we're going to be eating okra with every meal. We have lots of okra plants in here, and several of them are starting to blossom. So far, the only peppers I've harvested are sweet banana peppers, which those seem to have put their fruit on really early, but I did notice that I had some serranos here. And while I am kind of a wimp when it comes to heat, I think I could probably handle a few serranos fermented in honey. I found some jalapenos. I seriously cannot believe that we are already harvesting peppers. Where is this season going? I'm not complaining. Whenever the garden is at peak and I can come out and get lots of food from my yard every day, I mean, that's as happy as I get. I love that. It's one of my favorite things, but I'm still a little dumbfounded. I feel like I haven't quite shook off the winter season yet, and I'm sitting here going, oh no, we're through spring. Like, it's thoroughly summer now. I'm pouring sweat to prove it, but I still can't believe it. All right, I'm not gonna get lost in here because I really do need to cook dinner. But ooh, a strawberry. All right, one more harvest before I go in. Today is the day, ladies and gents. The baba ganoush time is upon us. I have been waiting for this. So I'm actually leaving town on Thursday. By the time you see this video, I'll actually be back. I'm really excited to go on this trip this weekend. It's gonna be kind of a lot, but I'm very pumped. I've been primarily in the kitchen this week, just preserving everything that I could that was coming in from the garden. Leaving this time of year is hard. The biggest thing is, you know, whenever things come ripe in harvest, you only have so much time to put it up before you've missed it. And of course, we've done all this work up until this point. I don't want to miss it. So I'm spending a lot of time in the kitchen. I'm going to do some searching and see if there's any way to like make baba ganoush and then preserve it. I think probably, if I had to guess, freezing it would be the best way, but I may play around with that and try a couple of ways. I've been sauteing them. I made some really good Italian pickled eggplants. Several of you recommended that. Thank you. Y'all have great ideas. I've been waiting for the baba ganoush. I'm so excited. Do y'all get excited to eat foods? Do you like look forward to it like you look forward to, I don't know, any other very thrilling and anticipatory event in your life? Because that's one of the greatest gifts that I have found in life as far as eating seasonally goes. When you don't eat something for the majority of the year, even though you love it, but you wait for the best version of it, like I wait for it fresh out of the garden. I look forward to it the way a 9-year-old looks forward to their birthday. That's how I'm looking forward to this baba ganoush, just so you can know the level of excitement. All right, y'all, I'm inside now. Obviously, I'm laying on the couch with one Benjamin Peter. What are we doing?
Watching Billy Amick play.
Watching Billy Amick play. Y'all check this out. Well, that's not Billy Amick on the TV. But it is Tennessee playing. Oh! No, that was foul.
This guy's a good first baseman.
Oh, nice.
He gets base hits and he's really clutch.
So we have some friends here locally. They actually live really near us. And their son plays for Tennessee. His name is Billy Amick. What is his nickname?
Billy Barrels.
Billy Barrels. Benjamin has become a huge fan, and we've been following the Vols as they have gone through the World Series. This is the final, so we're into it. I walked in, I was about to make that pesto for dinner, and Sweet Maya was already cooking, because we did not communicate. But
and
he's awesome.
Dad is making me tea.
Dad's making you tea? What a sweet dad. So,
Birthday
since
cake.
Daddy is cooking, I am laying down and watching baseball with Benjamin, which
Billy
is awesome.
Amick's up the bat.
Oh, cool. Oh, there he is. You coming to watch? Yep. Batesburg is proud of Billy, aren't they?
Little bit here in the World Series, 5 for 21.
If y'all did not know, my little garden boy has become quite the baseball player. And he loves baseball, don't you, Benny?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, guys. We're going to watch this Tennessee game. Actually, I need to soak my basil before I get too comfortable. It's so hot outside. I came in and just sprawled out underneath this fan. Told you my whole closet is back there on the table. We'll get it sorted by tonight. I was at the farmer's market once. It's been a couple years ago, and there was a lady selling Tupperwares, and I saw this massive bowl. And when I saw it, this is exactly the reason I like beeline to it. I was like, I need that bowl. It was for soaking produce. I have showed this before, and I will show it again. But anytime you bring in a bunch of produce from the garden, especially like leafy things or broccolis or things with crevices where critters and creepy crawlies can hide, I put a couple of tablespoons in a big bowl of salt. We have the kettle hot because, as Ben said, Maya was making them tea, so I'm just going to put a splash of that in, excuse me, to melt this salt. Give it a good swirl and let this, I said melt, technically it's dissolving, but I'm going to dissolve the salt, and once I can't see it anymore, start adding cold water until it's about halfway full. I just want to be able to submerge what I brought in. I'm going to soak this basil because as I was picking it, I was noticing quite a few bugs on the underside of the leaves. The other day, as I said, I filled my freeze dryer up, and as I was filling it up, I had washed it, but I hadn't soaked it, and I picked off quite a few bugs. And since Maya had already started on dinner, I'm just going to soak this and I may stick it in the fridge afterwards and do it in the morning. So the salt is just gonna kill whatever insects are on here, cause them to let loose of the leaves, and then whenever I'm done, I'll take all the leaves out and rinse them off, and then I can use them however I want. And then the cool water soak will actually also help with any wilting, because it's I call it soaking the heat off, but it's your rehydrating stuff. And since I picked this in like a really hot afternoon, it would wilt really fast because the water content's low, because those plants are out there in the 100-degree heat. So by soaking it for 20 or 30 minutes, so you don't have to do it for a super long time, they'll soak up all that water, and then I can put this I'll wrap it up in some paper towels and stick it in the fridge, and it'll be nice and fresh for me to use in the morning, and bug free, hopefully. What are you making, sweet Maya?
What do we call it? It's just sausages and potatoes and onions roasted in the oven
Yes.
on a cookie sheet, or stoneware for us.
So sausage and potatoes, that's what we call it, with onions.
It's just super basic, super easy, but super taste.
You want me to taste your tea? It's gonna be too sweet for me. I don't put sugar in mine.
I only put a little bit of maple syrup, but it's got that. It's the birthday cake.
Very sweet. We're testing out some new teas for Beulah.
I actually do like it.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would like it. I just don't do a lot of sweet. Oh, I guess I'm gonna go watch some Tennessee baseball. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today and all the days you do. As I said, by the time this video comes up, I'll be back home from my trip and my recipes will be up. So I'll put the link down below to the farmer's table where you can find pesto, baba ganoush, as well as lots of the other things I've been making. Thank you for hanging out with me. And bless you. Until next time.